Let me explain the significance of why these Wahhabis are trying so hard to convince you that I'm a shirk apologist. I mean, this is a very serious allegation. It's basically soft takfir, and they know it's soft takfir. That's why when you look in the comment sections, you see all the Wahhabis non-stop takfiring me. Shirk apologist is just a euphemism for kafir, because if someone is openly defending or apologizing for shirk, that makes him a kafir, obviously. Wahhabis like Farid al-Bahraini want to spread such accusations against me without stating the full takfir, because I guess they're too scared to actually spell it out. Let's just recap how we got to this point. You see, the problem that Wahhabis have with me is that I'm one of the loudest Muslim speakers criticizing how Middle Eastern countries are normalizing with Israel at the expense of Palestinians. I'm one of the loudest religious Muslims in the English language, giving a religious argument for why this normalization is a complete betrayal of Islam. This criticism puts a giant target on my back. Both Zionists and supporters of these Middle Eastern regimes want to undermine me in any way that they can. So starting last year, a massive network of Gulf-connected Wahhabis began a non-stop media campaign to Aqidah test me. What's your Aqidah, bro?
The main issue with Daniel at this point is we don't know what his Aqidah is.
And they threw all kinds of smears against me to try to portray me as a deviant, a hypocrite, a heretic, an apostate, and ultimately as someone who deserves to be killed. This is typical of Wahhabism. If you recall from our documentary, Wahhabis always use the pretext of Aqidah to attack their political opponents and call for their death.
Killing the Khawarij, there's reward in killing them.
Daniel Haqiqatjou.
Is Daniel a Khariji?
He's a liar, evil person, deceptive, dishonest.
That's a question I cannot answer.
To refute some of the shubuhat brought by Daniel before they set in the hearts of the Muslims.
Daniel Haqiqatjou is a shirk apologist.
But does Daniel have Khawarij ideology and he speaks the way they speak? Yes, that's very evident.
Daniel Haqiqatjou, I feel really sorry for the people that have been duped by this individual.
So is Daniel a deviant? Definitely he is calling for deviance.
This was what Ibn Abdul Wahhab did when he called for the assassination of his political opponents in Najd. For example, Ibn Muammar, who was assassinated by Ibn Abdul Wahhab's henchmen as he was praying in the masjid. This is also why Ibn Abdul Wahhab called for jihad against the Ottoman Caliphate, because he mass takfired them as mushriks. This is also why Wahhabis sided with the British against the Ottomans in World War I. This is also why Wahhabis in our time consistently sided with the US and Israel whenever the US and Israel were at war with other Muslims. They sided with the US in the first Gulf War against Iraq in the early 1990s. They sided with Israel over Lebanon in the 2006 war. And in 2020, they sided with Israel over Palestine because the Palestinians are so-called Ikhwani grave worshippers who don't have the right Aqidah.